In today's video, we explore 18 library assistant interview questions and answers. Don't forget to customize these answers to highlight your unique qualifications and experiences. Here's a bonus tip. Research the company and review the job description so you can incorporate key skills relevant to the job role in your answers. Question number 1. Can you tell me about yourself? When answering this question, focus on your personal qualities, interests, and values that align with being a library assistant. Hiring managers want to see curiosity, patience, organization, and a genuine desire to help others. You don't need to list every detail of your background. Instead, paint a clear picture of who you are and how you'd contribute to the library environment. End with what excites you about serving the community in this role. I describe myself as someone who's naturally curious, organized, and passionate about helping others learn and grow. I've always loved spending time in libraries because they represent a calm, welcoming space where anyone can discover new ideas. I'm the kind of person who enjoys solving small problems, keeping things in order, and making sure people feel comfortable asking for help. I take pride in being reliable, patient, and attentive, qualities that I believe help create a positive experience for patrons. Outside of work, I love reading across different genres, exploring new technology tools, and staying involved in community programs that promote learning. What draws me most to this role is the opportunity to support both staff and patrons in a setting that values knowledge, respect, and continuous discovery. I see it as a chance to be part of something meaningful and community-driven every single day. Question number 2. Why do you want to work as a library assistant? When answering this question, show genuine enthusiasm for the purpose of libraries and the role they play in the community. Hiring managers want to see that your motivation goes beyond just having a job. They want to know you care about literacy, access to information, and helping others. Focus on your love for learning, organization, and public service. End your answer by connecting your personal values to what the library stands for. I want to work as a library assistant because I genuinely believe libraries are one of the most important and welcoming spaces in any community. They offer everyone, regardless of background, equal access to information, technology, and learning opportunities. I've always been drawn to environments where people come to explore, grow, and connect, and a library represents all of that. I enjoy helping others find what they need, whether it's a good book, a quiet place to study, or guidance with digital tools. I also value the structure and calm of a library setting, where attention to detail and respect for others truly matter. Being part of a team that helps keep that space organized and inviting would be deeply rewarding. I see this position as more than just assisting patrons. It's about helping people feel seen, supported, and inspired to keep learning throughout their lives. Question number 3. What do you know about our library and community? When answering this question, show that you've done your research and understand what makes the library unique. Hiring managers want to see genuine interest in their specific branch, not a generic response. Mention the library's programs, community focus, or resources that align with your personal values. End by expressing excitement about contributing to their mission and serving their patrons. I learned that your library plays a big role in connecting the community through education, inclusion, and creativity. You host a variety of programs for children, teens, and adults, such as reading clubs, digital literacy classes, and cultural events. I admire how the library goes beyond books by providing technology access and outreach services to people who might not have those resources elsewhere. What stands out most is the welcoming atmosphere and emphasis on lifelong learning. I'm inspired by how the staff supports patrons from all walks of life, creating a place where everyone feels they belong. I'd love to contribute to that mission by helping visitors find the materials or services that can make a difference in their day, whether that's locating a book, using a computer, or simply offering a warm, patient interaction that makes them feel valued and supported. Question number 4. Why are libraries important to the community? This question tests your understanding of a library's broader purpose. Interviewers want to hear that you recognize libraries as more than book lending spaces. They're community hubs for learning, connection, and support. Discuss their social value, educational impact, and inclusivity. Show that you appreciate how libraries empower people and strengthen communities. Libraries are one of the few places where everyone is truly welcome, no matter their age, background, or financial situation. They provide free access to knowledge, technology, and a quiet space to think, things that can change a person's life. Libraries also foster literacy and lifelong learning by encouraging curiosity and creativity in people of all ages. Beyond books, they offer programs that help individuals develop skills, find jobs, or connect with others in meaningful ways. In many ways, libraries are the heart of a community. They promote equality by giving everyone the same chance to learn and grow. I believe they represent kindness, patience, and respect in action. And that's something I deeply want to be part of. Working in that kind of environment would allow me to serve others while being surrounded by learning and inspiration every day. Question number 5. How would you handle a difficult or disruptive patron? When answering this question, focus on patience, empathy, and professionalism. Employers want to see that you can manage conflict calmly and follow library policy while maintaining a respectful tone. Emphasize listening, de-escalation, and teamwork. Show that you value keeping the environment safe and welcoming for everyone. If a patron became upset or disruptive, my first approach would be to stay calm and listen carefully to understand what's causing their frustration. I'd speak respectfully and keep my voice steady, showing empathy while also setting gentle boundaries if needed. Often people just want to feel heard, and a calm response can help diffuse tension. I would do my best to address their concern or find someone who can assist further, depending on the situation. If the behavior continued, I'd follow established library procedures or notify a supervisor to ensure everyone remains safe and comfortable. My goal would always be to protect the library's welcoming atmosphere while treating every person with dignity. I think maintaining composure, showing understanding, and communicating clearly are key to resolving issues without making anyone feel embarrassed or dismissed. Question number 6. Describe a time you delivered excellent customer service. This behavioral question looks for empathy, problem solving, and your ability to make patrons feel valued. Even if you haven't worked in a customer-facing role, think about any time you helped someone or went out of your way to make their experience better. Focus on kindness, patience, and attention to detail. End with the positive outcome and what you learned about helping others. There was a time when I helped someone who was having a hard time finding specific information they needed for a school project. They were stressed and unsure where to start, so I calmly guided them step by step, showing them how to use online catalogs and research tools. I made sure to explain everything clearly so they could use those resources confidently in the future. When they found exactly what they were looking for, they were so relieved and thankful. That experience reminded me that excellent service isn't about rushing to give an answer. It's about being patient, attentive, and genuinely caring about the person's success. I find real satisfaction in helping others feel capable and supported, and I'd bring that same attitude to every patron interaction in this role, no matter how small the request might seem. Question number 7. How do you prioritize when multiple patrons need help at once? When answering this question, interviewers want to see that you can stay calm and organized under pressure. Focus on time management, clear communication, and fairness. Show that you can assess situations quickly, handle immediate needs first, and remain polite even when balancing several requests. Emphasize how you maintain professionalism and ensure no patron feels ignored. When several patrons need help at once, my first step would be to stay calm and acknowledge everyone waiting. I'd quickly assess which requests are most urgent. For example, someone who needs brief help printing versus someone with a longer research question. I would politely let patrons know that I'll assist each of them as soon as possible, so they understand I value their time. For smaller or quicker tasks, I'd resolve those first to keep things moving efficiently, while inviting others to wait in a comfortable spot or browse resources nearby. Throughout the process, I'd stay friendly, communicate clearly, and thank everyone for their patience. I think good service is about balance, being efficient without losing the personal touch that makes patrons feel respected and cared for. Even during busy times, small gestures of courtesy can make a big difference in maintaining trust and calm in the library environment. Question number 8. How would you help a patron find a resource when they are unsure what they need? This question measures your problem-solving and communication skills. Interviewers want to see that you can guide patrons with patience and curiosity. Focus on asking clarifying questions, listening carefully, and showing understanding. Demonstrate how you'd make the search collaborative and positive, ensuring the patron leaves with confidence and a good experience. If a patron isn't sure exactly what they need, I'd start by asking open-ended questions to learn more about their goal. For instance, I might ask what topic they're interested in, how they plan to use the information, or what they've tried so far. I'd then explore the catalog with them, showing how to search for related subjects, keywords, or formats like books, articles, or databases. If they seem uncertain, I'd take the time to walk them through the options, suggesting both general and specific resources. My goal would be to make them feel comfortable asking questions while helping them learn how to find materials independently in the future. I think part of being a great library assistant is turning moments of confusion into moments of discovery, where the patron leaves feeling empowered, supported, and eager to come back again. Question number 9. How do you handle confidentiality and patron privacy? This question checks whether you understand library ethics and professional responsibility. Libraries protect patron records, reading habits, and personal information. Explain that you take confidentiality seriously, follow library policies, and handle sensitive data responsibly. Emphasize respect, discretion, and professionalism in all interactions. I believe protecting patron privacy is one of the most important responsibilities in a library setting. Every visitor deserves to feel confident that their reading choices, account details, or research topics will never be shared or discussed without permission. I would follow all library confidentiality policies carefully, whether that involves handling circulation records, assisting with computer sessions, or helping with personal information on forms. If anyone outside the library asked about a patron's activity, I would politely explain that such details cannot be disclosed. Respecting privacy also means being discreet in conversation, never discussing another patron's questions or interests where others can overhear. I see confidentiality as a sign of respect and trust between the library and the community. By maintaining that trust, patrons feel safe to explore and learn freely, which is exactly what libraries are meant to encourage. Question number 10. How do you maintain a welcoming and inclusive environment for all patrons? When answering this question, show empathy, awareness, and inclusivity. Hiring managers want to know that you value diversity and treat every patron with respect. Emphasize patience, open-mindedness, and an ability to adapt communication styles to meet different needs. Show that you see the library as a safe space for everyone. To me, maintaining a welcoming and inclusive environment means making sure every patron feels seen, respected, and comfortable, regardless of background, age, or ability. I would greet people warmly, listen without judgment, and remain patient with those who may need extra time or assistance. Inclusivity also means being aware of different needs, whether that's helping someone who isn't fluent in English, guiding a person with limited mobility, or assisting those unfamiliar with technology. I'd make an effort to use clear, respectful language and ensure library resources are accessible to all. If I noticed anyone struggling to navigate a system or space, I'd approach with kindness and offer help in a calm, unobtrusive way. I believe libraries thrive when everyone feels welcome to learn, explore, and belong. Creating that atmosphere is not just part of the job, it's at the heart of what makes libraries such meaningful places in the community. Question number 11. How would you assist a patron with ebooks, databases, or other digital resources? This question evaluates your comfort with technology and your ability to explain it clearly to others. You don't have to be an expert, but you should show patience, good communication, and a willingness to learn. Emphasize that you take time to guide the patron step by step while keeping the experience positive and stress-free. Show that you value helping people gain confidence with digital tools. If a patron needed help with ebooks or online databases, I'd start by asking what device they're using and what they're trying to accomplish. I'd guide them slowly through the process, whether that's logging in, downloading an app, or navigating search filters. I'd use simple language and show one step at a time so they don't feel overwhelmed. If I didn't immediately know the solution, I'd check the library's digital resource guides or ask a colleague for assistance, making sure the patron sees that I'm committed to helping them. My goal would be not just to fix the issue, but to help them feel comfortable enough to try it again independently. I believe libraries should make technology feel approachable, not intimidating, and I enjoy being part of that process by helping people discover new digital tools that expand their access to information and learning. Question number 12. How do you stay organized and manage competing deadlines? Interviewers ask this to see how you handle multiple responsibilities efficiently without losing focus. A library assistant often juggles shelving, helping patrons, maintaining materials, and supporting programs. Emphasize time management, prioritization, and attention to detail. Show that you value consistency, structure, and a calm approach even when things get busy. I stay organized by using simple systems and routines that help me stay on top of tasks throughout the day. I like to keep a checklist of priorities so I can quickly see what needs attention first and what can wait until later. I also believe in finishing one task carefully before moving to the next whenever possible to avoid confusion or errors. In a library, there are always multiple things happening at once, so it's important to stay flexible while still following a clear plan. I find that being proactive, like tidying sections during quiet moments or preparing materials ahead of time, helps prevent stress later. I also keep communication open with coworkers so that tasks are divided fairly and nothing is missed. Staying organized isn't just about efficiency, it's about maintaining the calm, welcoming atmosphere that patrons expect every time they visit. Question number 13. Tell us about a time you resolved a conflict with a coworker or team. This question measures teamwork, communication, and maturity. The interviewer wants to see that you can handle disagreements respectfully and find constructive solutions. Use a calm, balanced tone. Focus on listening, compromise, and keeping the team's goals ahead of personal opinions. End by emphasizing what you learned from the experience. There was a situation where two of us had different ideas about how to handle a shared task. Instead of letting frustration build, I suggested we talk about it privately so we could understand each other's points of view. We both explained our reasoning, and I realized that combining parts of both approaches would actually make the process more efficient. Once we agreed on that, things ran smoothly, and we both felt respected. That experience taught me how valuable open communication is in maintaining harmony within a team. It's normal to have different perspectives, but the key is to listen without judgment and focus on solutions that benefit everyone. I believe teamwork is about cooperation, not competition, and being able to resolve conflicts calmly helps create a positive, productive workplace for everyone. Question number 14. Describe a time you showed initiative to improve a process or service. Interviewers ask this to find out if you're proactive and take ownership of your work. Libraries appreciate staff who look for small ways to make operations smoother or patrons' experiences better. Choose an example that shows observation, creativity, and care. Focus on how your action helped improve efficiency or service quality. There was a time when I noticed that patrons often struggled to locate certain sections because the signage was small and inconsistent. I decided to organize a simple labeling system that used clearer fonts and color-coded categories, making it easier to navigate different areas. After suggesting it to the supervisor, the idea was approved and implemented, and patrons began finding materials faster and asking fewer directional questions. Seeing how such a small improvement made a big difference reinforced how much attention to detail matters in a library setting. I like to look for practical ways to make things easier for both patrons and staff, whether that's organizing supplies, streamlining check-in routines, or improving the clarity of information displays. Taking initiative doesn't have to mean big changes. Sometimes it's the thoughtful, everyday adjustments that make the library run more smoothly and make people feel more supported. Question number 15. How would you handle a patron who is frustrated with technology? This question tests your patience, empathy, and ability to guide patrons who may feel overwhelmed or embarrassed. Hiring managers want to see that you can stay calm and approachable while helping someone through a stressful situation. Focus on clear communication, reassurance, and problem solving. Show that your goal is to make the patron feel capable and respected, not rushed or judged. If a patron was frustrated with technology, my first step would be to reassure them that it's completely okay to feel that way. Technology can be confusing for anyone. I'd speak slowly, use encouraging language, and stay right beside them to walk through each step patiently. I'd avoid technical jargon and instead explain things in simple, friendly terms, asking if they'd like me to demonstrate before trying it themselves. If the issue required more time, I'd suggest scheduling a follow-up or providing printed instructions so they could practice later. My goal would be to make the experience positive and build their confidence rather than just fixing the problem. I believe that patience, kindness, and empathy go a long way in helping patrons feel comfortable using digital tools. And when people feel supported, they're far more likely to keep learning and returning to the library. Question number 16. How do you ensure accessibility for patrons with disabilities? This question checks your understanding of inclusivity and sensitivity. Interviewers want to know that you recognize diverse needs and will actively work to make the library accessible for everyone. Emphasize awareness, patience, and willingness to assist without being intrusive. Show that you value empathy, respect, and equality in how you serve all patrons. I believe accessibility is essential to creating a truly inclusive library. If a patron has a disability, I'd approach them respectfully, asking if they'd like assistance rather than assuming what they need. I'd make sure to speak clearly, maintain eye contact when appropriate, and adapt my communication style based on their preferences. For those with mobility challenges, I'd help retrieve materials or guide them through aisles safely. For patrons with visual or hearing impairments, I'd point out adaptive tools such as magnifiers, large print books, or audiobooks. I also think awareness is ongoing. Staying familiar with accessibility policies, assistive technologies, and inclusive design helps ensure everyone can fully participate in what the library offers. My goal would always be to treat every patron with dignity and care while helping them access resources in the most comfortable and empowering way possible. Question number 17. What would you do if you could not immediately answer a patron's question? This question tests your problem-solving skills and professionalism. Interviewers want to see that you stay calm under uncertainty and know how to find reliable information. Show that you're resourceful, honest, and focused on helping the patron get the right answer, even if it takes time. If a patron asked a question I couldn't immediately answer, I'd first thank them for their patience and let them know I'd be happy to find the information for them. I believe it's important to be honest rather than guessing, so I'd use the library catalog, databases, or reference tools to search for accurate information. If needed, I'd ask a librarian or colleague for guidance while explaining to the patron what I'm doing so they know I'm actively working on their request. I'd follow up as quickly as possible and make sure they leave with a clear answer or at least a next step. I think being dependable and transparent builds trust. Patrons appreciate when someone takes their questions seriously. My goal would always be to make sure they feel supported and confident that the library is a reliable place for information, even when an answer isn't instant. And finally, here's the last library assistant interview question. Question number 18. What does good teamwork look like in a library? This question helps the interviewer assess your collaboration skills and attitude toward coworkers. Libraries function best when staff communicate well, share tasks fairly, and support each other. Emphasize communication, respect, reliability, and shared goals. Show that you value teamwork as part of maintaining a positive environment for patrons. To me, good teamwork in a library means communication, trust, and mutual respect. Every team member plays an important role, from helping patrons to keeping materials organized, and the library runs smoothly when everyone supports one another. I think teamwork means being dependable, stepping in to help when someone's busy, and sharing information so tasks don't overlap. It also means being open to feedback and handling differences calmly, knowing that we're all working toward the same goal, serving the community. I always try to maintain a positive attitude and show appreciation for my coworkers' efforts, no matter how small. When a team works well together, patrons notice. They see a welcoming, efficient space where everyone feels cared for. I believe that kind of cooperation not only strengthens the workplace, but also reflects the very spirit of what a library represents: community, connection, and shared growth. If you want to learn more on how to land jobs and reach your career goals, don't forget to hit that subscribe and bell notification button to get new videos every single week. Also, don't forget to hit that like button because that motivates me to keep doing what I do. Stay safe, keep smiling, and good luck.